Hey guys, hope everybody had a great spring break and you all did something fun. But now it's time to get back to some math. So go ahead and find that guided notes for Unit 10, surface area and volume. Okay, the cover page looked like this. Again, we got it before we left. Hopefully you brought it home with you. All right. Jumping right in here then, guys. For our first lesson, we are going to look at finding the surface area of a prism. Okay, so a prism is, right, a three-dimensional figure, okay, that we are going to be looking at. Okay, so it says, I can use a formula to find the surface area of a prism, and I can find the lateral surface area of a prism. Okay, so lateral means sides, okay, so not including the top and bottom. Okay, so our first example here, I apologize because my picture did get cut off, so let me kind of draw in what it looks like. Again, I'm not a great artist, so hopefully you get the idea here, right? This one was 10 inches and this side was 12 inches. All right, so if we wanted to find the surface area of the prism, notice that it says that it has an open top, okay, and bottom. Okay, so the top and bottom, right, you can see right here, right, that's open, okay, so so it's not closed. All right, so if we're finding that, that means we just want to find the surface area of this side that I'm shading in red. Okay, so if I'm looking at that, right, I can see that that's a rectangle, and that rectangle is 12 by 20, right? Going up and down is 20 because it was 20 on this side. Okay, so I know that it's 12 times 20. Okay, but I also know that there are two of them, right? Because there's one that I shaded, and then the one directly across from it is also 12 by 20. So I'm going to do 12 times 20, right, times 2, right, and that would give me 480. Okay, if I look at the other piece, right, my other piece is this piece that I'm shading here in blue, right, and this piece is 10 by 20. Again, there are also two of those, right, so when I solve that, right, that gives me a total of 200 times 2, so 400. So when I add those two together, I get a total of 880. Okay, we are talking about area, so remember it should be our unit squared. Okay, so 880 inches squared for that one. All right, looking at the key idea here. So our key idea, okay, it says surface area of a rectangular prism. Okay, so they're showing you what the prism looks like, right? And then all they did here, right, in this one that I'm outlining in blue, is they unfolded that shape. Okay, so what we have here is, oops, that was a terrible line. What we have here is what we call the net. Okay, that's the net of the shape. Okay, so our formula, right, we have 2L, there's a box there, that should be a W. So your formula would be 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH, okay? So if we were looking at, right, the one that's the shape, okay, we can find each piece, or we could just plug it into that formula. Okay, another way that you can think about it is the area of the bases, right? The bases being what the box is sitting on right now, and plus, right, the area of the lateral faces. The lateral faces, remember, is the sides. That's what we just found a second ago, right? We found the lateral area of that piece. All right, so looking at this first example now, it says find the surface area of the prism. Okay, so let's look at the net first. Again, the net is this one over here. So if I'm looking in those boxes, right, 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, I know that this box across from it, right, was also 8 by 4, so this would be 32. This little box on the side is, what do we have? 8 by 6 here would be 48. Right, 8 by 6, this one is also 48. And then we have 6 by 4, so this would be 24, and this would be 24. Right, so we can add up all of those pieces, right? So 24 plus 24 plus 32 plus 32 plus 48 plus 48. Okay, and if you add all of those up together, you should get 208 inches squared. All right, if I use the formula to solve this, right, the formula that we talked about up here, right, that 2LW, right, that one. So I'll rewrite that down here so we can see it, right? So we get S equals 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH, right? And we can label our pieces, right? So you can see that 8 would be L, we can see 4 would be W, and we can see 6 would be H. Okay, so if I plug those in now, S equals 2 times 8 times 4 plus 2 times 8 times 6 plus 2 times 4 times 6. Okay, so we get 2 times 32, 2 times 48, 2 times 24, right, 64, 96, 48. Okay, you should notice these numbers right over here match those numbers. So again, we get 208 inches squared. All right, so you could use the formula or you can use the net to figure out the surface area of the prism, whichever one is easier for you to see. All right, so same idea for these examples below. Go ahead and calculate that. I'm going to use the formula here since these are not drawn out as nets. It's easy for me to plug into the formula, right? So I'm going to get, again, surface area, right, is 2 times 10 times 15 plus 2 times 15 times 2 plus 2 times 10 times 2. Okay, if I multiply that out, right, this would be 300 plus 60 plus 40, which would give me a total of 400 millimeters squared. All right, same idea for this next one. Okay, so switch colors here. So for the next one, again, if I want to find the area, so maybe this one I'll do the other way. So I want to find the top and bottom. So if I'm finding the top and bottom of this shape, right, this is this piece here in blue, which I can see was 7 times 2. And remember, there's 2 of them. So 2 times 7 times 2. 14 times 2 would give me 28. All right, if I'm looking now at, okay, so we did those pieces. All right, so let's switch here to these side pieces, okay, that are in pink. So again, I'll call those left and right. So we get, again, there's 2 of them. And here it's 3 times 2, which would give me a total of 12. And then the last 2 pieces are the piece kind of in front and back, right? So front and back, right? So that would give me 2 times 7 times 3, which gives me a total of 42. And then we can add those pieces up together, and that would give us a total of 82. Okay, again, you'll notice that the work for 2 matches the work of 1, right? So we did each piece, okay, so top and bottom, right? This was our top and bottom, right? Our next piece was our left and right, right? This piece was our front and back. Okay, we just wrote it out kind of using the formula instead of thinking about it. All right, so again, up to you guys. All right, so let's do that again. So if I look at top and bottom, we get, again, there's two of them. That is these pieces down here. Okay, which is 2 by 9, right? So 2 times 2 times 9, which gives me 36. Okay, if we do left and right, I forgot to color my other top. Those are our pieces kind of over here. Okay, so we get 2, again, these are the same, 2 times 9, so we get 36. And then I get the front and back. Which is 2 times 2 times 2, which gives me a total of 8. And when we add these together, we get a total of 80 centimeters squared. All right. So this next example, says 1 can of frosting covers about 280 square inches. Is 1 can of frosting enough to frost the cake? All right, so we need to figure out the surface area. However, we do not frost the bottom of the cake, right? We do not. All right, so when we're finding the surface area, right, if we go back to what we were doing before, right, we want the top, right, not top and bottom, just top. So if I'm looking at the top of this cake, right, the top of this cake is 13 by 9, which would give me 117. Okay, if I look at left and right, okay, that's right, this piece over here, okay, left and right. Again, there are 2 of them, and we would get 9 by 3, which would give us a total of 54. And then if we look at the front and back, again, there are 2. And this is 13 by 3, which would give us a total of 78. And if we add these pieces together, it's 249 inches squared. So, if 1 can covers 280 square inches, is 1 can of frosting enough? Yes. Because 249, right, is less than 280 inches squared. So we have enough. All right, guys. Moving along to a different kind of prism here. Now we're looking at a triangular prism because our bases, right, are now triangles instead of squares. So remember, when you're finding a triangle, your area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, or you can write that as 1/2 base times height. Okay, so just keep that in mind when we're finding those bases. Otherwise, we're going to do our work the same here. Okay, so if I find top and bottom, right, so my top and bottom are my triangle pieces here. Again, there are 2 of them. So my formula was 1/2. My base and height here. Remember, when we're looking at a triangle, I'm going to erase this red for a second. The pieces that we need are the ones that form the right angle. So that would be this side and this side, which is 3 and 4. Okay, if I multiply that out, 2 times 1/2 is just 1, 3 times 4 gives me 12. If we look at our sides, okay, a little bit different here. I'm just going to look at each side individually, right? So if I'm looking at this side now that's in purple, right, that would be a rectangle, which is 3 by 11, which gives me a total of 33. If I look at the side here in pink, right, this is 4 by 11, which gives me a total of 44. And then don't forget about the side in the back, right? This side, this rectangle back here, okay, that's in green. Okay, so if I look at that rectangle, right, is a 5 by 11. Okay, so 5 by 11 would give me 55. And then we just have to add up all our pieces. Okay, and when we add all of those pieces up, we get a total of 144 meters squared. Okay, this problem next to it, right, this is the exact same as the one we just did. It's just written out with the net. Okay, the net might be easier for you to see. Right, this would have been 6, this would have been 6, 33, 55, and 44, okay, which is what we did in that last problem. All right, so same thing. Again, if you guys want to try these on your own, feel free to pause the video. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and write these out. So again, if I'm looking at my triangle here, okay, this triangle is different. Notice the right angles here. Okay, so the sides that I want are the base and the height, right, which I now outlined in orange. So my bases, I'll call them, or my triangles, right, there's 2 of them. My formula is 1/2 8 times 3. Okay, if we look at the rectangle over here, okay, this rectangle and the rectangle next to it over here are equal. Okay, so I'll call those the sides. Okay, so my sides, again, there's 2 of them, and that is 5 by 10. So that would give me a total of 100. I forgot to write the total for this one. This one would have been a total of 24. Okay, and then the other side we need, or the other piece we need, is the piece it's sitting on, right? This green rectangle on the bottom. Okay, so again, we'll call it the bottom, which gives me a total of, what is that, 8 by 10, which equals 80. And then again, we add up those pieces together to get 204. Okay, same idea for the next ones, right? So again, looking at those bases, right, those triangles, this one has the right angle here. Okay, so my triangle bases, again, there are 2 of them. My formula, 1/2 base times height, which is 6 times 8, which gives me a total of 48. Okay, the rectangles on the side. Okay, here they're different than the last one, right? So my, we'll call that the right side is 8 by 18. So that would give me 144. The left side is 6 by 18, which gives us a total of 108. And then the bottom, right, that bottom rectangle that it's sitting on is 10 by 18, which gives us a total of 180. Again, then we add up our numbers, which gives us a total of 480 feet squared. All right, hang in there, guys. I know this was a long video. Okay, these ones just have a lot of parts to it. Okay, and color coding really does help me to figure it out. Hopefully it helps you too, okay, outlining some things. All right, so again, I'm going to start by looking at the bases, right, which are my triangles. Okay, so here we have two of them. 1/2, 9 by 12. I'm running out of room, which gives me a total of 108. Okay, we'll just keep our colors. Okay, if I look at my right side, okay, that is 3 by 12. Which is 36. If we look at the left side, that is 9 by 3, which is 27. Oops. If we look at the bottom, that is 3 by 15, which is 45. And if we add up our pieces together, we get 216 yards squared. All right, and then last one on the bottom here, it says which one doesn't belong. Find the surface area of the prism, find the area of the net of the prism, right? These two are the same, right? This one and this one are the same, so those both work. Find the area of the bases of the prism. That is different. Find the sum of the areas of the bases and lateral area of the prism. That's the same. Okay, so the three that we starred, okay, those are all the same. Those are all different ways to find surface area of the prism. Again, use whichever way works best from you. Dividing the shape, use the net, use the formula, color code, okay, and then just add your pieces together. All right, guys, that is it for today. Again, log into Big Ideas, try your homework, and we'll check in later.